Hey, welcome to my podcast. I'm Jack and I'm with my co-host Jacob.
Hello. So I figured we'd just talk a little bit about just some things we're interested in. So the first thing I'm gonna talk about is just computers, like computers in general. I recently upgraded mine. I used to have an old, well I say old, I got it in like 2014. A bit crappy now. My new one is pretty ridiculously overpowered, but it's future-proofing myself. And it's part of it is for doing this, you know, figuring out how all of the different Creative Cloud programs work. It's been AIDS. It's been a traumatic.
Just so you understand my knowledge of computers, I don't own one.
Oh, you actually don't?
I don't own one.
Do you have a laptop?
In my entire household, there's two laptops. One is an old Windows laptop from at least 5 or 6 years ago that we barely ever use.
Okay.
And the other one is a Chromebook that costs about probably less than £200, which we use occasionally. I actually use it quite frequently for work.
I don't understand
all my stuff's
how
on
you...
the Google Cloud.
I don't understand how you function without a computer.
I don't need one. I use a phone, that's it. That's all I really have.
That's insane. I'm so connected to everything. I come home or I wake up and the first thing I do is I turn my computer on.
No.
I have... That's insane to me.
I have nothing going on in the internet world.
Oh, of course, yeah. You're on no social media at all,
social media.
Wow. I don't really post on social media. I have to see what's going on.
No.
I'm in the trap. You're free.
Well, yeah, I had to think about it for a while before I quit.
I remember when you did have it. Like when I first met you.
Yep. It was... Well, I only ever used it when I was forced to. I'd post on Instagram when someone would tell me, you haven't posted on Instagram for a while. By a while, it was like 3 months. So I was like, probably should mention something. And then just get a picture at the next party and just post that.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Vibes.
Twitter, I'd pretty much never use.
To be honest, I only use Twitter to follow the professional League of Legends team. That's all I use it for. Gotta get them quick updates. I can't believe you don't use Snapchat.
That was the worst.
That's how I talk to everyone.
No, it's the worst. Why would you want to take photos of yourself whilst trying to have a conversation?
You just take photos of whatever's going on, or you use... They have a chat feature in it now. So you don't
Yeah,
even
I
need
know,
to take
but
pictures.
text them.
If I don't want to.
Well, I don't understand. You have to save each individual message.
Yeah, but it takes like a tap.
Yeah, but it's so unnecessary.
I mean, yeah, but like sometimes you don't want a message to
It's an extra step that's unnecessary.
I guess.
I've never understood the need for Snapchat. I've always hated it.
I mean,
what particularly pissed me off is when I'd be in every relationship I seem to have had.
Oh, I already know what you're gonna say.
It's having a Snapchat conversation and a text conversation at the same time.
About two different topics.
About two different topics. Why is this happening?
I don't know. I do that all the time. It's really, really strange.
I don't get it.
Maybe
it would be annoying.
You're in one conversation and then you think of another topic, but you don't want to end that conversation, so you just go to the different app.
Yeah, but there's these things called paragraphs that you separate your messages with.
Yeah, but you never use... Well, I mean, you do, but I only ever use paragraphs in text if I'm, like, making a point.
Perhaps.
If I've got, like, an issue, I will paragraph it, and it will be, like, properly punctuated.
I usually separate my points. I've gone really weird recently. I've gone really formal with my text messages, using, like bigger words, more exact wording. Like writing out more like a work email than anything else. I don't really.
Is that just habit?
Partly, maybe. I really enjoy that side of things though, like being really like
professional with it. Yeah. I mean that's fair. I feel like it definitely. You never have the issue of sending a text to somebody and then being like, "What are you actually talking about?" Because you're always going to enunciate all of your points properly and get everything across.
Yeah, I was texting someone the other day and they said, "I text like a dad." So.
You do a little bit, to be fair.
That's what happens when you're not on the internet. You don't. I'm not with whatever the trendy way of talking to people is. So it's
do you follow like news websites then? How do you get your news? Like that's going to make me sound so terrible. Like, oh no, I get news from Facebook. I don't get all my news from Facebook. They're pretty good.
When I'm bored at work, I will go on the Google News bit and flick through that. Most of it's boring rubbish. Some bits will catch my eye, like the Logan Paul KSI fight.
Oh my god. I can't believe that's actually happening.
Comedy.
If he wins, he's gonna fight everyone.
Surely Logan will win. He's huge. He's got to be like...
And he does MMA. Like, I know they're doing boxing, but like...
Yeah, but Logan's got to be like a weight or class or two.
Because he's taller as well.
Taller, bigger in every way. Just like,
he's
going to destroy him.
You never know.
I can't see it happening.
I don't know. It's happening in Manchester as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
You excited for that? All the YouTube celebs coming into town.
Oh no, it'll probably pass me by and I'll hear about it later going, oh yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, forgot about that. Who did you see? There's a guy I work with who was like, I'm so excited. On the day of the fight, I'm going to go down, brush elbows with all the YouTube celebs.
No.
And I was like,
especially not those kind of YouTube celebs.
all the vloggers. Like Casey Neistat and like Logan and... What's the other Paul?
Jake,
yeah, those two.
I quite like Casey, to be fair. I don't watch him anymore. I used to watch him when he did the dailies. Because he has such a unique style that's really well presented and his cinematography is pretty great, but I got pretty bored of him. I don't follow YouTubers. I think I have about 15 subs.
I've got like over 100.
I used to be like that. I have about 15 of people I actually watch regularly.
Oh yeah, a
and
lot of them I don't watch, to be fair.
People that only post very periodically anyway. So that's why I sub, just to make sure I get those. But usually I just follow my recommended, so it just...
That's so stressful.
So it's trend... It's whatever my trend is, though. So it might be, I don't know, football-related videos one day, and then that might sink slowly into maybe political videos. And right now it's a mess. I started watching a couple sketch shows, like Mitchell and Webb Look and Armstrong and Miller Show.
Have you watched Key and Peele?
I've watched a few of the clips, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I recommend them.
But now my entire recommended is just like the full season 1 of the Armstrong and Miller Show, and it's just like, I don't want to watch it.
I've already seen all the good clips.
I've watched bits of it, and I'm just like, I don't want to watch it. Now that's my entire recommended, so YouTube's pretty boring for me right now.
I love YouTube. I have 2 monitors on my computer for the sole purpose so I can do whatever I want to do on one and have YouTube open on the other.
I have 3 monitors at work.
How? Why?
Because I asked for it.
Yeah, okay. You needed it for all your...
2 for actual work, and 1 is for... Is it an angle so my coworker can't see it? And so maybe I shouldn't say this, just in case someone at work's listen. But yeah, I'll have YouTube playing. They know that I YouTube in the background, or I'll read articles and that as well.
I mean, if you get your work done, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, we'll say that. No, I do.
Yeah, easy. I don't know. I have a friend who was like, I don't use YouTube. No, it just blows my mind. It's by far, I hesitate to call it a social media app because it's not really.
No.
But like, it's the website I visit the most.
Yeah,
by
I
a
should.
mile.
I need to do less of it. It's where I get most of the stuff I watch.
I used to be really into Twitch for a while, but then I got bored. You can't, obviously because it's live, you can't skip forward. So there's so much downtime watching it. You're like, oh, okay, it's like a talk show, except the guy is not really that charismatic most of the time.
Yeah.
He's just popular because he shouts out funny catchphrases. I'm not making...
No, I've never been too big a fan of live streams.
It depends, like... The professional League of Legends scene, I'll watch the live matches for that, but that's different. That's more like watching a sport than watching
because
a
that's
streamer.
what commentators, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
They have
so
casters, usually about 3.
Yeah. No, I used to watch very few back in the days when I played COD, when COD was good. I'd have it on in the background.
They're making Black Ops 3, aren't they?
I don't know. Nor do I care.
Oh, God, are you free from the video game life?
When was... Oh, yeah, pretty much, entirely.
That's insane.
I don't play games on my own anymore.
What do you do with your free time?
So much other things. I just fill it with other things.
Sink my time into playing video games.
The only time I ever play video games with my friend Matt, and we have a FIFA career mode together.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and that's it. That's all I do. And every now and again he'll come around and we'll play that. And that's it. I don't touch the PS4 other than that. I only have 2 games on it, which is FIFA and Witcher 3, which I got... Where am I on Witcher 3? I got to the Skellige Isles and just kind of lost interest.
It's a very dense game.
I haven't completed many games. I'd say I probably complete 10% of the games I play.
That's madness to me.
I have a horrible habit of getting bored halfway through, and I always do the same thing every time. I go in and go, this is a sick game, I'm going to play it to death, and I'll play through a bit of the story and then do all the side quests in that section, and then like move on to the next bit of story. So I get halfway through, and I've played like at least the story and a half worth of content. But I've only got maybe halfway through the story, and I'm like, kind of bored now. I'm bored of the gameplay.
Yeah.
I'm bored of the style.
I don't know.
So
I've gotten a lot more picky with the games I buy. I used to be like, fuck it, yeah, sure, play it for 20 minutes, be like, oh, wow, that was a waste. But now I've really...
There's been a few games like that.
Yeah, if you look at my Steam library, there's like 137 games, and like, I'm going to say 2/3 I've never played more than an hour of.
Well, to be fair, on the whole PlayStation Plus free games thing was where I got most of my games. On all of the PlayStation Plus games, I went through it, and then bear in mind I had it for like 2 or 3 years, and I went through it, and I think I'd only properly played 6 of the games. I think I completed 2 of them.
That's insane. If I buy a game, I complete it.
And one of those games was The Unfinished Swan, which is just some stupid indie game. Like, none of the good games they put out I've ever bothered playing properly.
Why? Did you just literally get bored? See,
Yeah,
I play... one of my favourite games is Dark Souls. That entire series is just a masterpiece. But, like, I will say I'm struggling against a boss. Or when I was, like, first playing through it. Now I've played it to death. I die, and I'd say it's like the 20th time I died. I Alt F4 out of the game, and then 5 minutes later I'm like, I can't do that, and I will go back and I will keep playing until I beat the boss. I recently replayed through Halo 5 on Legendary, and it was hell, just because I'm so stubborn that every time I was like, I need to go to bed, I was like, no, I can't, I need to finish the mission.
I mean, I think I have commitment issues with these kind of things. When I see a big game like The Witcher...
Huge. I haven't played it.
All I see is a time commitment.
Yeah. That's why I haven't played it.
I can't start any new TV series. Like, the stuff like Game of Thrones, everyone raves about. It's like, I'd probably like to watch it, but all I can see
is how far you're behind, yeah.
I'm investing so many hours to catch this up. I'm like, I don't care that much to try, so I'm not going to.
Yeah. That's fair. I do get
like
that.
It's my problem with like FIFA. I can't play on my own anymore because I forward plan too much. So I'm in the first season. I'll make my first season of transfers, and I'll start playing through, and I'll start thinking like, "Ooh, this is a hole in the team. That's a hole in the team. Or I can replace it with this player. Replace it with that player." And then by January of the first season, I've already planned 3 or 4 seasons ahead, and then all I see is like, I've got to play these games to get to that point.
Yeah.
I want to be there already.
That's why,
in my mind, I'm in season 4, but I'm still only halfway through season 1. I'm just like, I can't be asked.
That's why I prefer, at the minute anyway, like strategy games. Because you can plan ahead, but then it helps, because even on like the mission, so for example, XCOM, the second one, they released a DLC for that, which, if you don't have a computer, but I highly recommend it to anyone, because the missions are so complicated that you have to plan inside the mission while still planning what you're doing in like the overworld map. And it's a really satisfying way to like how the game's systems are designed, like the risk and reward, like it all feels very tightly knit.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay. So what's something you like? Interest me. Something I might not know about you. Yeah.
Well, obviously, so I work Monday to Friday. 7:30 to 3:30.
7:30 to 3:30. That's not too bad.
Well, as long as I do my 8 hours, I can come in whenever I want. Within reason. I can't like turn up at 12 and then go in at 8. But I decided to go in early so I could then have more of an afternoon.
That's smart. I wish I only ever do 1:30 till 7:30.
So that wouldn't bother me either because I'd have a morning. But how long do you sleep until?
I go to bed at about 2, wake up at about 10. Don't do really anything with my morning generally.
Oh, yeah,
Thursday I never work, and usually that if I have like errands or stuff to do, that's the day I'll do it on.
Well, see, when I have nothing to do, I really struggle to motivate myself to do anything. After work, I'm like, I can keep going because I can just trudge through.
You're in the mode.
If I'm sat at home trying to motivate myself to do even the simplest of tasks, it's really hard.
Yeah.
I have to do something I have to do to then get me to do anything else. So, obviously I do work 3, and then after the work I go to the gym, which is a really nice time to go to the gym because it's just before it gets busy. With the after work crowd. So I hit that. I'm usually home for about 5. So then it's time to fill the afternoon. On Mondays and Wednesdays I come home, grab something to eat, and then go straight out to mixed martial arts. and do that, and then come straight home and have dinner, and then after dinner is a bit of chill time. Which...
But if you aren't into video games, what is chill time for you? Because for me, chill time is music on in the background or YouTube and just sitting down for like 3 hours and just playing a game.
Chill time would be... Sometimes it's YouTube. Not too often when I'm at home. I've been watching Starship Voyager again with my dad. I love that series. So
I've never watched Star Trek. I've watched the films, like the newer ones, and they're all right. They're a little bit
the worst thing in the world.
They're a little bit, you know,
it's
cringy.
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's Star Trek trying to be Star Wars. It's trying to be a space opera, which isn't what it is.
I mean, Starship Voyager is the best one.
Is that the one?
Any Trekkie out there hates me for saying Starship Voyager is the best one because anyone who's a hardcore Trekkie hates Voyager, and there's a weird small community of Voyager lovers that agree it's the best one. that's what I'm about.
Is that the one with what's the actor's name? Patrick Stewart?
Yeah.
No.
That's Next Generation.
Okay. Who's in that I might know?
No one. I don't know if anyone else that's gone to do anything with that.
I was born and raised on Star Wars, so I've never had any interest in Star Trek, like the series. I've heard.
I hate how there's a war between...
It's ridiculous,
They're not even similar.
Not even a little bit.
They're like, here's two things that were out about the same time and both involved in space. And it's like, they're not even close. They're not similar at all. Star Trek is more like a sci-fi drama in space.
Yeah, and Star Wars is
an
like...
action.
It's like an opera. It's very...
Yeah.
It's like a... what's the word? Kind of like a space... Not a rom-com, but like... that. It's very out there even for sci-fi. Like, generally very ridiculous. Yeah. Whereas I feel like all the science done in Star Trek is very grounded in potential reality. Because it's sci-fi.
It's the future. It is the future. And a lot of the stuff that Star Trek did ended up being real in real life.
Yeah. I've seen pictures and stuff.
Like, they brought in tablets. They had voice recognition computers. And there's loads of other little things that like then ended up becoming real in a different way in real life. I don't think lightsabers will ever be a thing.
Hey, you never know. I mean, even if they were, they'd be illegal.
You
can't have a sword that can cut through a car.
Yeah.
That can't be allowed. But have you watched Seth MacFarlane? He did a show called The Orville.
Yeah, no.
Apparently the first 2 episodes are a bit pants, but if you get through that, it's a lot like classic Star Trek. I've heard.
Easy way to watch it.
Is it not on Netflix?
No.
Oh.
I don't know who owns it. I know it's on like Now TV, but I don't have Now TV, so I have no way of actually watching it.
That's fair.
I watched the new series of Star Trek that recently came out.
The one that was on Netflix even. Netflix, yeah. It's the new competitor.
Awful. I hate it so much. It's so not Star Trek.
Yeah, I've heard it got panned.
It hurts. I was so angry watching it.
Why? Because obviously Star Trek is kind of... I don't want to say every episode's like a fable. Like, they go to this planet, something's happening, they learn a lesson, they leave.
Yeah, that's it. There's very little action, very little... Occasionally there's a gunfight, and very rarely there's a physical confrontation.
It's more of a character piece.
Yeah, mostly based around the characters and like the lessons they learn and like the ideas of what
the future society
the future societies, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like what alien species and like what their different values are.
Yeah, because it's all about they're exploring the final frontier.
Yeah. Discovery's got next to nothing to do with Discovery. It's annoying. It was annoying from the start.
Because I don't want to spoil it, but I don't know anything about it because I haven't watched it. Don't they fight the Klingons in like the first episode?
Yeah, I mean they changed the look of the Klingons.
Is that not shooting your load a bit early? Getting like the most iconic Star Trek enemy other than the Borg, and then going like, yeah, first episode.
Oh, it's a mess. It's a mess. I don't want to spoil it, but like so, and in the start they introduced this thing called a spore drive. Now that Star Trek Discovery, I think, is before the original series.
Okay.
But after the new Star Trek Enterprise, so it's very, very early on in Star Trek time. They have heard of like warp travel.
Yeah. It's their type of like.
So warp 1 is light speed, and then warp 2 is
faster than light speed.
Twice warp 1, and then warp 3 is twice warp 2. So it's like that kind of exponential growth.
Yeah.
And then warp 10 isn't twice 9. It's like this. You're everywhere at all times. Like, it's that kind of like crazy sci-fi.
Instant travel because you exist everywhere at once.
Yeah. So essentially, I think around the time that Star Trek Discovery is supposed to take place, it's only around. They've only really managed to get warp 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
By Voyager, which is like a whole century later, they've managed to reach about warp 9. So Discovery's way further back in time, but they have this spore drive thing that allows them to teleport anywhere, anytime in the universe. It's like, why?
That's such a MacGuffin. It's just like, here, have this. This will now be a plot device.
Exactly, it is 100%. It's all based around it, and it's just like, but it doesn't make any sense. If you want to do that, put it after Voyager, so it makes sense time-wise. You can't just introduce this technology midway through a timeline and go, yeah, that's a thing. And then, because at some point they're going to either have to destroy it or just remake all the Star Treks with spore drive technology.
Which I feel like would make most of the plot points.
But other than that ridiculousness, the rest of it's just awful. Because like, the characters are poorly introduced. Mm-hmm. They're all bad characters. No one's interesting. You've got the plot line is so, it's like, you know when someone's trying to be complicated and they make this massive storyline that's like supposed to be really cool and intricate and deep, and it's just like, it's overcomplicated, it's too much.
It doesn't make any sense at this point.
Like, the stakes are too high.
Of course. And the thing is, by setting it in the middle of the timeline, you know
everything's going to be okay.
Everything's going to be fine.
But like, the stakes are, they're you can't relate to them in any way. They're too abstract. Far too high. Yeah. Like in Voyager or any other Star Trek, they'd solve a problem between the crew or maybe on a planet. But they're all there's this whole prime directive thing, so they can't get involved in other people's affairs. So they're only small problems that you're like, well, that was a realistic problem to solve. That makes sense. But these ones are like, universe-saving problems. It's like, it's already too big. But it's like, it's typical modern day. So there's one scene that really pissed me off. It was 2 women, right?
Is this going to be Bechdel test related?
No, absolutely not. It passes the Bechdel test in so many ways. It's so like forcing that angle of political correctness. But it goes too far. There's one scene, and Star Trek's never been an action.
No, it's a character piece.
Yeah. So there's one scene where they're on like a deck and in like some spaceship, and there's 2 women. They're both small, thin women, and they managed to beat up a room of at least 6, probably 8, 10 maybe, male henchmen. Now, I understand that henchmen are supposed to be these disposable enemies.
Yeah, red shirts.
Yeah, but these women are just physically overpowering these men. They're just beating them up, and it's just like, this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't happen.
In the original series, they would have figured out a way around the problem.
You watch it in the original series or in any other Star Trek, whenever there's a physical fight, one person will be able to take out one other person, maybe 2 at a push. The moment there's 3 people v1, there's not some crazy action sequence where he goes some crazy kung fu and beats them up.
It's realistic.
He gets captured.
Yeah.
Every time, because that's what would happen in that situation in real life.
Yeah.
Because they're not trained to be fighters. They're not warriors.
No, they're explorers.
They're scientists or doctors. They're not. So they have some basic
combat
ability, but it's basic. They know how to maybe hit someone once, but then they could easily be overpowered. It happens all the time. It's like, this makes sense. This is realistic, but the whole thing is so forced and just it's
cliche,
needlessly convoluted.
Yeah, I feel like the movies were a little bit like that though.
Totally. Yeah.
But again, I didn't dislike them. I kind of liked them, but again, I haven't watched the original series.
It's weird because they've tried to go like way too complicated. Like everything is these days. It's always like the world's on the line or the universe on the line. It's like, no one cares.
Yeah.
It's too big. Make it a town.
I've kind of fallen out with like big cinematic releases, like Infinity War's coming out. I just do not care even a little bit. I stopped caring maybe before Age of Ultron. I watched the new Thor. It was sick, but it was its own little thing.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, also amazing. But I can't be bothered going to the cinema, sitting down with all the Marvel fanboys. No offense. And watching Infinity War and just being like, this is just an advert for Infinity War Part 2, and then all the other movies that are going to branch off from that. Because likelihood is Iron Man or Captain America will die. I don't think. I think one of them will, and I think it will be like a permanent thing. But
just know it won't be though.
Yeah, no, based on comic books, of course they'll be back. But like, that's what worries me, because it's based on comic books. It's going to have the same problem The Walking Dead has, which is, do you know anyone who still watches The Walking Dead?
I actually do.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like 7 seasons in.
One person.
Most people I know who used to watch it are now like, I can't be.
I think you're still in it for loyalty at this point.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I've just got to see it through to the end.
I did that with Lost, so I understand that. But like, I'm so done with like, it's like I'm trying to be pretentious, but like mainstream media.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, they try and make it so big, but then they've also like dulled it down as well.
Well, I guess that's the idea.
So it's simple, digestible action stuff.
You appeal to the largest market that you can.
Yeah, obviously.
For the
why
least
wouldn't
money
this
that
is
you
for
can.
profit.
Yeah, but then
That's
you watch it. Have you seen La La Land?
No.
Oh, it's a musical, but it's amazing.
You actually like it? Mum hated it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Hated it.
Why? Did she say why?
Just no. Just didn't like it. A few people I know don't like it.
What?
Yeah.
It's beautiful. That's shocking.
It's weird. The people who I thought would hate that film came out and loved it, and the people that you'd think would like that film came out and hated it. So it seems to be a musical for people that don't like musicals.
Yes, completely. Because it's not really, like, it's a musical, but it's not.
Yeah.
Like, there's maybe 3 or 4 big numbers, but even then, I feel my issue with most musicals is it's a musical for the sake of being a musical, not for the sake of the plot. Whereas in La La Land, there's like a scene where after the party, the lead male, Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone, they're going off and then they dance, and it's very like fitting to the plot, and it serves like the way it should. It shows a lot about the characters. Like all the song pieces and all the set pieces in that are very like, oh yeah, this totally fits. Whereas I feel like I watch most musicals and I'm like, you've just written a song so you can sell a CD.
Yes.
I don't know if that's just me being like super cynical though.
Perhaps. I mean, maybe if you really like listen to the lyrics, it probably explains more than you.
Yeah.
Because most people just like, oh, catch a tune and sing along.
Yeah,
and don't
that's
pay much
true.
attention.
That's true.
And then you're listening, it's like, oh, there's actually like there's a
deep
big
meaningful
plot here
thing
in the lyrics. I just haven't bothered listening.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, I haven't even seen La La Land. I couldn't even comment. I have an issue where I don't watch films. I might watch the analysis on YouTube though.
Oh, I do that. I do that.
And then I'll just take their opinion. Like, that was good enough. I'll have their opinion
I'm
and
trying,
just spread that as my own.
I'm trying to get out of that habit, but yeah, I've done that for a while. I've gotten quite into stand-up comedy lately.
Oh, I do enjoy some stand-up comedy.
I highly recommend James Acaster.
Oh, his new one. I've been watching a lot of James Acaster recently.
He's so surreal. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Has he do the apple in an orchard bit?
No.
Oh, see if you can find the apple in an orchard bit on YouTube. It's so good. It just builds on itself continuously through.
Yeah,
the
he's one of those comedians who tells jokes that aren't jokes. They're stories that are so nonsense convoluted that you can't help but laugh.
Oh, yeah, he is really.
He's very surreal. I'm a big fan. I highly recommend his Netflix.
I recommend Bill Burr.
Bill Burr?
Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr. He's from. I don't even want to say because I don't want to get it wrong, but America. But yeah, he's got like I know I don't want to get it wrong. I want to say like Boston area, but he doesn't have that accent. Or maybe I don't know, somewhere around that region anyway. But he's got 3 specials on Netflix, and I like all of them. One of them is a bit awkward to watch because it's in black and white.
Like, I get it. You're trying to, you're just being
weird.
like, this is part of it. It's relevant.
Yeah.
But like, I still want to be able to.
No, he's an angry comedian, so he
Those
shouts a
are funny.
lot. Yeah. But he's quite clever with it, so I really enjoy him. He's probably one of my favourites.
Is he a particularly like dirty comedian? Does he swear a lot, or is he quite clean? Does he talk about like, being a degenerate?
No.
Because there's comedians like Ari Shaffir.
Oh yeah, just
like
drugs.
that entire area. Like this is not happening.
No, it's like he swears, but not.
Yeah, but James Acaster swears, but he's not dirty. He's very like.
Yeah, it's more just throwing in fuckings and just saying shit.
Clever, very intelligent, well put together, well thought out jokes.
Okay, it's just to more expand the joke.
Mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm.
yeah, no, it's not. He's not dirty anyway. Like, or degenerate. He's like quite a sensible guy.
That's
He
fair.
just gets angry at things. It's funny because he has really good commentary on that. Definitely worth watch.
I might have to.
Or what's his name? Who's the guy that just came back?
From where?
He had a hiatus from comedy for ages and then came back and did 2 Netflix specials and then just did another one. The black guy.
Oh, Chris Rock. Is it
No,
Chris
no,
Rock?
no, no,
I know the
no,
one you
no,
mean.
no,
I think.
No.
I'm trying to think of his name. The one who was in Half Baked. Have you seen Half Baked?
No.
That's a classic stoner movie. That's a great film. It's not, but it is. I know what he looks like if it's the one I'm thinking of, but I can't remember his
I
name.
don't know. I don't remember, and I feel like it's offensive that we did.
Maybe a little bit, but in case you hadn't noticed, we're horrendously ill-informed about everything we're talking about, for the most part.
Totally.
But I mean, you know.
Maybe it'll come out later.
Yeah, you never
That's
know.
pretty good. If you can find it.
Yeah.
If you find whoever I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny as well.
We'll give it a go. Okay, so, comedy. What else? What else are you into? Just anything. Anything at all.
Do a bit of yoga.
I've wanted to get into Tai Chi. My mum is very into feng shui, which is the art of moving energy around a room.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like legitimate, proven thing. It actually works. Maybe not because of the energy reasons, but like if you follow the rules of feng shui and like you put them in practice in your own home, like, you can feel the difference. Like my house is very comforting, it's very relaxed, and it's just because of how the rooms are laid out. It's all about like you don't have electronics facing the bed, you don't have a mirror over the bed, stuff like that. Like how you
sense.
how
you're going for a certain vibe.
Yeah, how you lay the
ways
room
of
out.
doing it, yeah.
And Tai Chi is the art of moving energy around your body, done by like, I don't want to be offensive, so I'm just going to say the same region of people who came up with feng shui. And I figured
somewhere in the east.
yeah, basically. I figured Tai Chi would be interesting at least, but it's expensive. You have to go to special Tai Chi classes. There's no like online tutorials. Like you can't. Well, there are, but you have to pay for them, and I don't really want to do that.
Really? No, it's sort of someone on YouTube that just.
No, I tried.
Really?
It's just like adverts for
much are the
people
classes
marketing. Not that much, but like.
Even yoga's really expensive. Like the one that's near me is like £12 a session.
Mhm.
At my gym they do a yoga, so I get it for free through the membership. So that's the one I do. But there's another one near me that's like £12 a session, which is quite pricey.
Yeah, I have another friend and a couple of people at my work who are into yoga, and they say it's amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I had this weird thing like the other day. I was sat on my desk and I was getting kind of, like butterflies in the stomach, a bit weirdly anxious. Like no real reason.
Yeah.
And there was probably some underlying reason, but I couldn't quite work it out. And I was like, and what I did is essentially I stood up, like arched my back backwards, put my hands up in the air, looked straight up, stretched my stomach out, and breathed for like a count of 5, like deep breathing.
Yeah.
And then when I stopped, I was fine.
That's so cool.
I was like, that surprised me. I'm surprised I'm actually completely
worked.
fine. It completely worked. It was great. And I was just like, yeah, yoga, I start to notice it when I haven't done it for a while, because I haven't done it for 2 weeks now.
Yeah.
And I'll start to notice it.
I feel like it must make you a little bit more like, not just lighter in your body, but lighter in your head.
Yeah,
like people
definitely.
who do it for like very spiritual
Because it is like
reasons.
meditative just in its nature, because it's all about breathing through it.
Yeah.
And like the first few times it's kind of frustrating, but it's also really satisfying when you do it and you finally make that move, or you can finally hold the position for the 5 breaths, or you finally like, I just started being able to do like a headstand for like any amount of time. Like I'm achieving stuff. I'm like getting things done.
It does feel good when you make progression to something you're interested in.
Yeah. So that's something that's been.
I'm interested because all the people I know who do it speak very highly of it.
Yeah.
And because I meditate a little bit at home, just off and on whenever I'm feeling particularly stressed, but I feel like doing it in a routine would be a lot better, because I really struggle to enact routines into my life just because I don't like planning. I hate lists. Lists can fuck off. I'm sorry.
I find you gotta just force yourself into things.
Yeah.
Like sign yourself up when you're when you're hyped for it. Sign yourself up.
And then
and
you feel
obligated.
You
have to go then. You're in it. The
smart.
amount of times like I always think like, because sometimes I'll think of something, I really want to do that. I'm like, let me just think on it for a bit.
And then you think on it and you pick holes in it and then you don't want to do it.
Think about exactly. If I just gone,
fuck
But
it.
that's how I started everything I'm doing now. Is I've been hyped for it. I've looked into it and gone, yeah, that sounds like a really good thing to do. And I've gone, I'll think on it for a while, and then thought, no, book a session now, get me started, or otherwise I'll talk myself out of it.
That's smart.
And so that's what I've started doing.
It's getting ahead of
pretty
your
much
own brain.
everything.
It's interesting. Okay. I think this has been interesting. I think I've learned stuff about you that I didn't quite know. And I hope...
Well, I've only scratched the surface
Yeah, I know.
of things that could happen.
It's interesting how... Because we don't really speak outside of doing the podcast for the sake of the podcast.
Yeah.
So there's a whole gold mine.
Yeah, potentially you could get into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Just leave it open for next time.
Yeah, I think we should just call it a day. So thank you very much for listening. Any feedback at all is greatly appreciated.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Put it in the comments, please.
We beg you. But yeah, thank you very much. We'll see you next time.